Klaar voor het tweede deel van de Padeltrainer webinaravond. We zitten met een internationale topper voor ons. Ik zal hem zo meteen aan jullie voorstellen. Ik wil juist nog even meedelen. Er volgt een korte Q&A-sessie aan het einde van deze sessie. Dus hebben jullie vragen voor Nito, dan kan je die stellen in de Q&A. Dat is een icoontje onderaan in je scherm. Daar kunnen jullie gerust vragen stellen. We zullen onmogelijk alle vragen kunnen stellen, maar we selecteren er de leukste uit. En die stellen we op het einde dan aan Nito voor jullie. Okay, I will switch to English now, so Nito can understand me as well. Nito, welcome to your first webinar and one of the first Padel webinars in Belgium. I will just introduce Nito Brea to you. He's an international Padel coach. He is from Argentina and he started playing in 1986. A few years later, he became already a professional player, and as a professional player, he was very well known for his mental strength. His mental strength was rock solid, and you also see that in his way of teaching. Short after, he started coaching, and in 2007, he already started coaching several professional Padel players. Now, as most of you know, Nito also wrote a book. It's called Common Sense in English, but it was also translated last year to Dutch, where it's called Gezond Verstand. So for the people that don't know the book yet, the book is known as one of the best Padel books that there are. It's one of the best Padel books in the world, and now it's also available in Dutch. So if you don't have it yet, buy it, read it, and get to know Nito, his way of thinking about Padel. That's also one of the reasons we asked him to host this webinar for us. Okay, the first part of Nito, his presentation will be how to teach as a coach, and then the second part about the Padel shot, the Bandeja. It's a completely other view on the shot as we know it, but I'm sure Nito will tell you lots more about it. Nito, up to you, good luck, and we talk to each other at the end of the webinar for the Q&A.
Well, thank you very much, Christophe, and well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your invitation, and we try to share my point of view of this topic, the topic that we choose for today, a way of thinking, and how to train the bandeja. For the beginning, I will give you my experiences not only for working with professionals, because one of the key, and I think that it's one of the most difficult things, is to work with beginners, with amateurs, with people that will have for all their life, limitation, physical limitation. So that is, if we learn concepts, we can use the concept to work with a professional, with kids, with people of 60 years old. It's the same, because if we know what we really want and know in the sport, no? So that is one the key for me to be a good coach, and trying to, our goal, which is to try to get the best version of each player. So that is the key. That is our goal. So for this, let's start with the presentation, a way of thinking. First of all, I prefer to start talking about a basic learning program. So how can we start working with a player? I don't know, it's depending of the level, but I don't care about the level. The basic learning program, if you imagine that you will start with a new player, and he never played Padel, and he will start playing. Maybe it's good to know about his background. If he had played tennis or other sports, it's very important to know if he knows if he has another background. But the thing is, in Padel, we have too many situations. It's a very rich sport with shots and situations. Maybe you are coming from tennis, that your forehand is to finish the point, is to prepare the point, to push, to defend. But here in Padel, it's easy to have different shots, that you will have maybe a shot that is a definition, a finishing point, a winning point, and shots that we are going to use to defense. See? Yes, so here we have, I prefer to give you that in 10 or 20 classes, I like to teach this kind of shots or situation. So it's important to give here to give students the basic shot to be able to play a point. That's the key. No? So here, the regulation, all the shots from the back without wall, flat forehand, backhand forehand, backhand, flat backhand, the back wall, the side wall, the two walls, the corner, the block volley, the approach smash, the bandeja, placement, lobs, service and return, maybe shots with a slice. In paddle is easier than tennis to use a slice because from your hand, the sweet spot is closer to your hand. So it's easier to start maybe with the slice shot. But it's not the first part, no? I prefer to teach flat shots. Then the basic point structure, how to move, how to make the first decisions, how to play with your partner, no? That is the complement. That is very important because you are not alone. Yeah? And it's not an individual sport. So you need to know about which will be the best decision when you play without the ball. That is one of the very important things. Fences, the definition of smash, well, forehand and backhand half volley. So that is, here you have a player diagnostic scheme. Here, if you are a trainer, you have this in your brain. In your head, you have this. And when you start with a new player, maybe you have all the shots and situations, and maybe you can start putting a 2, a 3, if it's good or not. So that is good to start. And I would like to start with a player. I prefer to have all 3 or 2. No? If I start with a flat forehand, for me, it's not important to make him improve this shot from 1 to 8 and to be 4 or 5 classes, lessons, only practicing the flat forehand. I prefer to move on as quick as we can and trying to practice in these 10 or 20 lessons all the shots or situation, this basic. No? I prefer to have, this is a regular player's scheme. Imagine that you have all the shots between 3 or 4. No? These kind of players, I prefer than this irregular. Maybe you will find with a great volley, with a great smash, power smash, but then without knowing how to resolve the walls. So that is not a good player. So I prefer to start improving each shot, but at the same level. So that is for me important. These 15 or 20 first lessons, it would be very important to give him the skills to be able to play a match and to start with his experience. This is the classes for the initial phase. That is what I was telling to you. And during this phase, it's important that the student, first of all, I always like that the people learns, because maybe sometimes we need to know the objective for the people. Maybe it's a social sport, maybe someone are going to the club just for networking, to know people, but we always try to teach. It's important that the student should always take something away from every classes. That's important. Has fun. That's very important to try to ensure that the student enjoy learning. You can teach and make him enjoy the lesson. Moves. They should feel like they have done some exercises. socializes and meet other players. That is, padel often takes on a role of a social inclusion. So that is important because as soon as we can, it's good to have this player knowing more players of the club, trying to start renting courts to play. So it's good for him, good for the player, good for us, and good for the club. So that is a win-win-win. Here, something very, very, very important for me. Try to teach the shot together with the where, when, and why. And try to give every shot a proposal. The player, it's important to know what they have to do with every shot. Imagine in tennis, maybe it's difficult because your forehand is to defend, to push, and to finish the point. Here, the flat forehand is not a finishing shot. Yeah? So we have the power smash, maybe the high volley, and maybe the off the wall smash. Not too many definition shots. So that is important to give every shot a goal, something that is clear for a player. Imagine that we have a soccer team. No? You have the defender, the midfielder, and the forwards. Well, they have a defender. It's not for the defender is not to score goals. We don't want a defender to score goals. We have the forwards from score goals. So in the same idea, we need to know about padel, which are this kind of shot and for what. Yes, and that's important to share and to teach with this concept. Analyze shot selection separated from teaching how to do the shot. Because if players make the wrong choice, they will probably also perform the shot poorly. So that's the key about trying to analyze the shot selection. It's very important in padel to make them choose the right shot for each situation. And then try to produce intelligent students. Try to make them understand the sport. Well, now how to train the bandeja. This is, for me, is easy to try to explain the bandeja, but I always find it in every place something difficult because, first of all, we need to define the situation. With this approach bandeja, because the situation is we are at the net, or our player at the net, 3 meters at the net, and we are going to receive, we are receiving a very high and passed lob, that we are not in a comfortable situation. We are close to lose the point directly because to the net or out of the court, or maybe indirectly because letting the ball very easy for your opponents to attack or counterattack you. So that is why everyone has problem with the bandeja, because maybe they are making a great rebound and then the opponent can attack, counterattack. So first, these questions. Can we finish the point? Are we pushing or just defending? This approach bandeja is a defending shot. We are not in a good situation. Even the best professional player, then we will see some pictures about that. So first of all, the 5 things to achieve. So if you watch professionals, you will find that I think that the bandeja or this approach smash, I prefer to talk about situation. Winning smash or finishing smash, then a pushing smash, and the approach smash. No? This approach smash maybe you can see that every player can use a different technique. It's not exactly the same. They have different styles. Huh? But the thing that these 5 things, so maybe if I have a new player, I would say, well, you can hit the ball up to you. I don't, for me, I don't care which is your technique to use for an approach smash. But we need to achieve these 5 things. Keep your error percentage low, so security. You cannot lose a ball. Generate no dangerous rebound off the wall. That is one of the key. What is a dangerous rebound? If we need to define dangerous rebound, because everyone say, no, I have always a rebound with the bandeja. You will have rebound. It's not bad to make the ball rebound, because it will be impossible to make from this position to push or to make a very, very, very less rebound. So which could be a reference for this? I prefer to say that a dangerous rebound is when the opponent can hit the ball above his weight and ahead of the service line. If you play the bandeja, you hit the ball as a bandeja in this approach and pass, and you let the ball to your opponent ahead, and he's be able to hit the ball ahead of the service line and hitting the ball above his waist is a dangerous rebound. If not, it's a perfect approach smash. So that is one of the key, this second point. Achieve depth, not to let the ball easy for the opponent to attack you. Be economical with your movement. You should not be a shot that requires a huge physical effort and have the time to get back into position at the net. That is the 5 things that you need to achieve. It's like we talked about soccer, if we're comparing with soccer. This is a midfielder player. Number 5 is like Sergi Busquets of the Barcelona. He's not, the mission is not to score goals. Don't lose the ball, don't lose the position, and it's very important, it's a very important position in soccer and in padel is this approach smash. Important concepts. First, let's see this video and I will explain it. First of all, the most common technique for the bandeja is this, trying to let the ball go down because it's easy to let the ball slower, less rebound if the ball is going to enter to the ground without the same angle. So that is simple, but it's difficult to do really when you play. My smash, I recommend this, to try to hit the ball as high as you can. Try to look at the stretch arm. You need to jump. Sometimes I heard that it's better to have your foot on the ground. Yes, but for this kind of situation, when we receive a pass lob and we are at 3 meters from the net, it would be really impossible not to jump and not to and let the ball go down. So my advice, and then we will work on this, is to hit the ball as high as you can. Here you have the point of impact. This is another way to hit the ball. Look at this. When you bend just a little your elbow, and the point of impact is closer, is more or less at the same line of your head, not at the right, and on your side. So that is easier, and maybe the players will have more strength in the moment that he's going to hit the ball. So that is another technique. But if you look at the racket, you will see that the key is not to do this. So both moments, the key is not to pass the top of the racket. Try to hit the ball. The hand is passing first, and then the top of the racket. So that is one of the common mistakes. Let's see the other. Well, here we have the basic direction. Here we have the direction. Try to, first of all, my advice, try to reach the side wall. First, side wall and then back wall, or back wall and side. This is the common mistake. If you pass the top of the racket, you will let the ball very easy. And this is the other problem if you make a dangerous rebound. These are advanced directions. So here we can direct the ball to the fence, to the union between the fence and the side wall, to the corner, back wall and side wall. Then we have the center of the court. This smash is very important, this direction. And it's good to do it. It is higher. Look at my arm. And parallel, always reaching the side wall. Never only backward. Here are with a beginner, the beginner objective, first of all, not to lose the point. Because if you lose the point with the bandeja, you are making the lob. I always like start with this question. Is a lob a definition shot? Everyone say no. Well, if I play a lob and you hit the ball with the bandeja and lose the ball, I just won the point with the lob. So you cannot make this. So here, this is a great bandeja. This last one, this is great bandeja. So, and this is too risky. It's not the thing that you need to achieve. This is an advanced objective. This is a best player, but try to, this was short, the last one, but this bandeja is okay. But for the bandeja, it's like when the bandeja wants to be the starring of the movie, it's going to start making mistakes. Here we have the basic problems. I always, my advice is try to learn what the players really need. So don't try to give them a lot of information. Try to give him these first advices, and then when he starts to experience some things about the opponent, they will tell you, and then you can say, okay, you have this problem, I have this to fix it. So this is one of the basic problems. In the first, not in good players, you will see that if the players, imagine that the opponent who is at the back is not, if he doesn't have a good defense, he's going to take this position. Look at this position. No? This position is not a good position when you start playing and defending. But if you are not confident on your defense, I think that everyone in Belgium, on all these new countries, everyone are maybe ex-tennis players, not paddle, so they will have problems with the walls and the defense. So we'll take this position. It's not good, but it's a problem for this kind of bandeja. So this is a problem because maybe he's going to volley the bandeja. how can we fix them? How to resolve them? In that case, we need to teach this bandeja to the center of the court. Look at this. Seems easy, but if the opponent is in this position, it's the best way to resolve it. That is one. Advanced problems. The same problem, the same concept in advanced players is when they come in to volley the bandeja. Let's repeat it. When they come into volley, this is, if you see watch the World Padel Tour, it's common to see, to watch this. So this is an advanced problem. For this, one way to resolve it is using the same direction of the bandeja. That is one of the way. Another way that is more difficult, trying to get another angle, maybe using another kind of a smash, but with more difficulty and risk. And the other way to resolve it is try to use, even if you are not in a good position, try to hit the ball with more power. Well, this is how to teach now the bandeja, how to teach it. First, I prefer to start with the movement, with your arm. Look at the paddle racket, it's a very short preparation. Try to, first of all, try from this position. This is from my online course, so that's another kind of video, but this is the preparation. Try to start, put it on your side, and with your racket, it's like you are in the, as a goal, as your team score a goal, and you make like this, a goal. That is the first movement. The progression. Here we have another progression. I like to make the player as he's practicing a serve, in a tennis serve, but with this bandeja. Start with this, try not to pass the top of the racket, stretch the arm, and try to hit the ball as high as he can. Yes? That is the first step adjustment that we can practice with him. This kind of movement that we do start moving to reach, to get the ball. One, another progression is throwing balls, but closer. And this is one of the key. Try to start closer and then start taking another position. That, first of all, this position every time with both arms stretched. That is the third position, progression. Then we start throwing balls from the other. We will have another one first. Let me check. This is the third progression. And then we have this. It's good to start. The player had to catch the ball as high as he can. Let's do it again. We throw the ball and he has to catch the ball with the racket in a good position. This is good to make him read exactly the distance and the ball. That is a progression. Another progression is then he catch the ball and hit the ball using the same techniques. Catch and hit the ball, trying to always try to correct if he's not doing. And after that, you can throw balls and make him hit the ball directly with the bandeja. Let's do it here. We have from this position, from the back. So now we are in the distance, the same distance that the player is going to receive the lobs. Here is in a good position, no? We are starting with the progression. Let's see now. We are giving him time to prepare and to keep his foot on the ground. Well, now let's talk about these common correction mistakes. Look at this. One of the common mistakes is this one, to pass the top of the racket. But look at this. Sometimes this is, which is, if I had to answer you, which is the real mistake here? Is that I passed the top of the racket or I hit the ball in front of me. If I hit the ball in front of me, the top of the racket will pass. So that is a matter of distance. So we need to know exactly which is the mistake. So now, before finishing this, I would like to give you some examples. That is, when I start with a clinic, a presential clinic, a real clinic, without COVID, I always like to ask you a question. No? I will ask you, what do you think? Is it good to let the ball go down, to hit the bandeja, or hit the ball as high as you can? Everyone will tell me that it's better to let the ball go down. Yes, it will be better, but I think that it's impossible in this kind of defending situation when you use this approach smash. No? And I will always say, well, take your mobile phone and try to put in internet, try to find pictures of players playing using the bandeja. And you will find something like this. This is Alejandra Salazar, one of the best bandeja of the World Padel Tour players. For me, one of the best players of all the times. No? But look at this. We will see something. All the players are hitting the ball close to the third line. So they are from the 3-meter position, maybe start moving, and maybe 3 steps, no more than this, 3, 4, no more than, and then they jump, trying to jump backward, not trying to jump to get the ball as high, trying to put the body behind the ball. This is Alejandra. Here we have Alex Ruiz. Look the arm, look at the arm, look at the point of impact, and look at the position. Look, Bea Gonzalez. Look, all the body as stretched as she can, trying to hit the ball, and all in the same position, close to the serve line. Look here, the first point of impact. Then Cata Tenorio, another Argentine player. Look at the position. Elia Metrain. Look, here is Gemma Triay, the #1 of the world. He's one of the taller players. He's very, very large, not only taller, large, and she can cover a lot of spaces. But look at, she's jumping, and look at the arm and the point of impact, as higher as she can. This is Matias Diaz, the same position, the same. Here you have Paquito Navarro, one of the players that he doesn't use the bandeja as another players did. Look, Maxi Sanchez here. Here he has the top of the racket a little more in this position, but he's jumping, and that's it. So this is the last one. Victoria Iglesias, another. Look at the point of impact. well, I think that now is a good moment for Q&A. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it, and well, ready to answer all your doubts or questions. I hope my English was good enough to make you understand.
Thank you very much, Nito, for this presentation. Really a good other view on playing the bandeja shot. I have some questions ready for you. If for the coaches that are following the webinar, if you still have some questions, you can still type them in the Q&A box on the bottom of the screen. If we have more time, we will for sure ask them to Nito. We have like 40 minutes left, so we have time for a good Q&A session. Now, the first question we have for you is a question we already expected to get. In Belgium, we teach to play the bandeja at shoulder height. So not above the head, but at shoulder height. Previous foreign coaches taught us to play the bandeja this way, but when do you play the bandeja at shoulder height, in your opinion, or do you never play it on shoulder height?
No, yes, it's a very good bandeja, but in my opinion, you need to anticipate just a little the lob. If you are, no? I always like to make this exercise in my courses. I put a player or a trainer at 3 meters of the net, but when we throw balls and we start throwing the ball, you will see that the player start moving just before we hit the ball from the basket. So these 2 or 3 steps that he is doing in advance is like he's anticipating the lob. It's not real. I always like to make this exercise to say, well, Christoph, put your position at 3 meters of the net. I'm going to throw balls to bandeja, but I can throw low balls too. If my ball bounced in front of you, between your position and the net, you have to pay the dinner. Yes, for everyone, for all the people here in the webinar. So you are now not only thinking on the lob, because these first steps that you start moving in advance makes you the opportunity to put your body behind the ball and let the ball go down and use this. This is a pushing smash. When you can push with the bandeja, when you are in a best position with the ball in front of you, you can let the ball go down and you can push a little. It's not just a midfielder. Now you can push the opponent. So it's a different situation because you are anticipating the lob. But maybe we don't, it's good for you to do it, this exercise. Because when you are going to throw the ball, the player starts moving. And sometimes he's from the bandeja, another exercise is good to do with in real situation, that I say to the player, well, let's practice bandeja. Okay. And he takes a position in the middle of the court. And I say, no, sorry. I make a mistake. Let's practice volley. Okay. And he moved forward to 3 meters of the court. So that is not real. That is an ideal situation, but it's not real. The real situation is that you are at the 3 meters and you can receive low balls or lobs. And you have to be in the same position for both situations. If you start moving in advance or before I hit the ball, it's like you are anticipating a lob. If you are a good player that can anticipate a lob because of the position of the opponent or because of the history of the last points of the way that the opponent is playing, okay, but it's another level of player. If you can anticipate the lob, you are a very good player. I always like to say that if it's thinking at the university and you have all the signatures, we have bandeja 1, defense 1. Well, after bandeja 1 in the second year, we are going to introduce about anticipation. Anticipation 1. After coursing bandeja 1, this bandeja, and anticipation 1, we can teach the bandeja, the pushing bandeja, letting the ball go down, because we can anticipate and we can find it in real situations in matches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't
so
know if I was clear.
It's very clear. So if I understand well, like you see the bandeja as a more defensive shot. As we are talking about the bandeja, we are already talking about a bandeja 2-point or 3-point or 4.0, in fact.
No, I think that if your player says that he's winning a lot of points, he's scoring a lot of points with the bandeja, it's because it's a bad bandeja. It's impossible, because that is because your opponent is a bad player, or try to check your mistakes. Because maybe you say, no, I won 10 points with the bandeja. Okay, how many mistakes? Okay, well, 30. No, it's not good. I prefer not to, it's not the starring of the movie, the bandeja. The bandeja is the midfielder running, supporting the partners. All this, making all the play is very important for the complement of the player. If we have more time about this, it's a very tactical shot. And it's a good way to know this is to put the World Padel Tour even for players with a great power smash, and let's watch the use of the bandeja. If Velasteguin, yes, for this bandeja, jumping, this pass lob, if he's scoring points with the bandeja, who is scoring point with the bandeja? So, and sometimes I watch too many players that wants to have a killer bandeja that doesn't exist. And then we'll see Velasteguin putting the ball to the other and recovering the position at the net. It's like this. It's like in box, this jab like this. Are you knocking your opponent? No, but it's defensive. It's just defensive. It's not to win, to score points. So that is the key, to know exactly what do you need to achieve with the bandeja.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Another question. In your opinion, what's the big difference between a bandeja and a Viborah?
Well, the bandeja, the pushing bandeja, the Viborah is the technique that you use, and it's a matter of semantics here. Because why, when in my first time as a player, we start putting names to the shots because it was starting the sport. The Viborah is a shot that you try to make the ball go as like a Viborah and on the ground, very close to the ground after the rebound of in the backward. It's okay? So that is the Viborah. So you can use the Viborah. The Viborah, you need to let the ball go down and have the ball in front of you. It's a technique for a pushing smash when you are in a better position or when you anticipate a lob, no? And the Viborah, I like to say that you can use the Viborah with this technique like a tennis, like bending your arm, your elbow, or like bandeja. You can see that maybe Sancho Gutiérrez make the Viborah like this, but Velasteguin, not like this, like a bandeja. Velasteguin used the same technique for the approach smash and for a pushing smash. Use the bandeja. The only difference, if he's in a good position, he can let the ball go down and hit the ball with more power, with more spin, and trying to make the same effect as a Viborah. So Viborah, I like to call Viborah as Viborah of bandeja or Viborah like a tennis smash. No? But Viborah is a pushing smash when you are in a better situation. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Then like 2 or 3 coaches asked more or less the same question, like when do you make the choice to play the bandeja and when do you make the choice to let the ball bounce and play it back after the bounce? Like, is there a difference between beginners and advanced players?
Well, here is for me, the best way to work is about the percentage. It's about the control of the ball. The concept is exactly the same, which is when Velasteguin make this, choose this, select this, choose this shot. It depends of how many times from 10 do you put the ball inside. So all the players, if we talk about if you are comfortable or not, comfortable is the same concept for you, for me, for my mother, and for Velasteguin. If from this position you can hit the ball as bandeja in this pass lob, and you can, after 10 bandeja, you never lose the ball, and you put the ball 10 balls exactly with these 5 things that we need to achieve, use the bandeja. If you are losing the control, and from 10 balls, 5 balls, you lose the point, let the ball go down and always try to choose the shot that are giving you more security. So that is the concept. And the only difference between me, you, my mother, and Velasteguin is when we make one decision or the other. But the concept is exactly the same. Depend on the successful of your shot and the percentage that you have to the shot. It's like in basketball. Michael Jordan from 3 points. If you are at 3 meters from the basket, throw balls. At 4, maybe I only put 8 of 10. Yes, only 8. In the 6 meters, maybe 6 of 10. It's good to throw ball or to pass the ball to another partner. So the concept is the same. Depend on each player where they have the limit from one or for each other. The concept is not to lose the control of the ball. It's not a problem to lose the net. The problem is when you lose the control of the ball and the control of your position. If you lose the net, it's not a problem. But sometimes people, that's the problem here, maybe we can talk another hour, is if you are not confident on your defense, because you are not good at the defense, which is the shot that will have more pressure not to lose the net? The bandeja, because when you receive a lob, you don't want to lose the net. Why? Because I don't know how to defend. So the bandeja needs to make take more risk, but because of the defense, not the bandeja. We talk about a soccer. If I am the midfielder, no, the number 5, Busquets, but I'm a great midfielder, but the defenders, the center defenders, are the worst of the world. I have to make more work and taking more risk, but because of this. So not because of the bandeja. So if we have nivelated, we have a level between the defense, the midfielder and the forward in paddle with the approach smash, the defense and the finishing points, we can play and we can choose free of this. I don't know if I was clear.
Yeah, it was very clear, and it was nice to talk about it with the soccer and the basketball. It's very clear in this way. Thank you very much. Another question: a lot of players in Belgium have a tennis background, and they always tend to play the bandeja too fast, too quick, too hard. Are there any tricks to make less errors and to drop the speed of the ball? Like tricks to give to players?
Yes, tips. For me, it's okay. If I'm a trainer, if you invite me to Belgium, it's okay. I say, well, I'm not charging you. I'm not going to charge the training, the lesson. I prefer to go to commission. If you win the point, I will give you 10 euros per bandeja. And if you lose the point, you have to give me 5 euros. After 5 minutes, you will start to do it slower. But this depends. That is one of the problems here in Belgium and in every new country, that all the first and the best players are coming from tennis. No, that no one defends well. So no one play good lobs, because to analyze a bandeja, we need to analyze the lob. What kind of lob is coming? A good lob or a bad lob? Is the another player mixing low balls and good lobs or not? If they are with good anticipation and no one play good lobs, maybe the bandeja is a pushing smash. We are talking about the pushing smash. But when this kind of player, it's easy. The best players of Belgium, if you go to the World Padel Tour, maybe Velasteguin and Sancho will beat them without going to the net, only playing lobs and low balls. And why? After this match, you say, I don't know what is happening with the bandeja. I know what is happening. They are playing good lobs, and they know how to defend. That is the problem. It's not the problem of your bandeja. The problem is that you are playing, all the people there, they are playing in the same way, without defending, without good lobs, and everyone are trying to improve the bandeja and no one trying to improve the defense. So the best is difficult to sell. I always in my courses try to give arguments to sell lobs and defense. And look at this. If I had to tell you, I like to make this. For a clinic, you have one shot to practice with me. Which shot are you going to choose for a lesson? You have only one shot. What do you think? What is the shot that all the people want to practice? Bandeja, or Viborita, or smash. Why? Because all the people have problems with the aerial shots and the aerial space. That is the common problem in all the world. All the world. People have problems with this. So I prefer to say to you this. If everyone in the world, every player in the world has problem with the aerial space, what do you want me to teach you? The bandeja, the Viborah, or how to resolve it? Or how to defend and how to play lobs And if you defend well and you have good balls, good lobs, everyone in the world will have problems against you. So that is the key. If everyone has problems with the bandeja, I don't want to learn bandeja. Please teach me lobs and defense, because I want everyone have problems when they play against me. That is the key. Not the same, but until more players start using bandeja and defense and lobs, if everyone plays in the same way, it seems that there's not a problem. There is not a problem, but because no one have a great defense and great lobs.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few more minutes, so maybe one last question. It's something fun to ask as well, because it's something completely different as what we discussed today. I have a lot more questions, but I will just ask you one more, because it also came back 2 or 3 times. And what is your opinion in how the sports will evolve in the future? Like, we see more and more fast-playing players, hard-hitting players. What is, in your opinion, and I think they are talking about World Padel Tour and how the professionals are playing. What is your opinion in how the sports will evolve the next few years?
Well, I think that it will be improving, but will be faster, because the technology for the paddle racket is going to it's better and better. That is important, and the player will train more and will be maybe more aggressive, but depends on the surface. So the World Padel Tour, like a World Padel Tour or wherever it's in this position, I think that you can manage the speed with the ball and with the surface. So if you put a slower surface, you can control this. But the thing for me, the most important thinking about this for closing, for finishing the webinar, is sometimes we're just looking at the professional. But for the amateurs, for ladies, for seniors, paddle is just the same concept, and it's a sport, not an attacking sport. It's a defense and counter-attack sport, because maybe the professional will have more physical, more power, but a player of 65 years old will be with 55 years old without power, without the possibility to move and go to the net and keep the net every time. So for all the players, we will have another concept. It's not World Padel Tour, the real life. And for everyone, for trainers, the universe of the target of players that trainers will have are all of this. And we need to know the concept, because it's different to train Tapia than a man that come in, that is, he worked in a bank, he's a CEO of a company, never practiced sport, and he have 70 years old. What are we doing with this man? The power smash, 3 meter smash. No, it's sci-fi. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So that is the key, to know the concept and to know how can we teach everyone. And we have good concept, we can adapt the concept for each player.
Okay. Thank you very much, Nito. I think that was it for tonight. Thank you very much for a very nice presentation, and also a very interesting final session with questions and answers. I think I have more questions to fill like half an hour more, but we are out of time. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your look on the bandeja and how to teach the players. Have a nice time in the sun in Argentina, and we hope to see you soon in Belgium, one of the next few months when this situation is behind us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I hope I can visit you, because I'm very passionate of this, and I like to work with trainers. For me, it's very important, the work that you are doing. So congratulations, and well, a big hug for everyone, and thank you for be there. Huh?
Thank you very much. I will switch back for my last sentence in Dutch. Bedankt ook aan iedereen om erbij te zijn deze avond op de eerste Padel webinar. Jullie krijgen straks van mij ook nog een e-mail met een feedbackformulier. Wij zijn zeer benieuwd naar jullie bevindingen. Dus hou het niet voor jezelf, maar deel je bevindingen met ons. Die komt er straks aan. En dan hopelijk in de komende dagen de slides en de samenvattingen van de 2 sessies die we gehad hebben vanavond. Dit was het voor nu. Bedankt allemaal, nog een prettige avond en hopelijk tot snel op het terrein. Dag.